WIFTBPN.
Since 2018, nearly 3,000 tax credit scholarships have been awarded to Black students in Illinois to attend private schools that best fit their needs. Now, Governor Pritzker wants to slash this program. In a time of much uncertainty, we need greater equity in education for our families and children, not less. Call your state representative and senator and urge them to stand up for our kids and their future by supporting the Tax Credit Scholarship Program. For more information, visit empoweredillinois.org.
Introducing your trusted source for high-quality Black emojis, better known as Blackmoji. We believe Black is beautiful, and that beauty should be reflected in the digital market. Now there is an app that does just that, starting with Black Greek letter organizations. Blackmoji D9 offers more than an emoji app. It is a cultural experience of Black excellence. Download the app in the Apple or Google Play Store to access a specially curated catalog of emojis representing the Divine Nine. Use the emojis to celebrate Black Greek events, acknowledge current events, support social causes, and learn about esteemed Black Greek members who blaze the trail of Black history. A portion of every subscription goes toward a scholarship fund specifically for members of Black Greek letter organizations to help keep the legacy alive. Download the Blackmoji app today.
What about my love? Seems you have forgotten love. I do believe that something went wrong somewhere. What about my feelings? Do they mean anything at all? You got me so in love, I'm too blind to see. And that you got my love, now you wanna put me down. And that you got my love, got me standing on shaky ground. What about it, baby? What about the days and the nights we spent? What about the love we made so sweet? Are you sure you wanna live? Think it over, baby. 'Cause girl, I believe. I think you just might wanna change your mind. Now that you got my love, you don't even come around. Now that you got my love, got me standing on shaky ground. What kind of way is that to treat your man? When I gave all that I never had, you got me going through changes of life with you. Are you sure you wanna live? Think it over, babe. 'Cause girl, I believe. I think you just might wanna change your mind. Now that you got my love, you don't even come around. Now that you got my love, you got me standing your hands together.
WIIFTBP, media's just for you and me. WIIFTBP, media's just for you and me.
They call him Mr. Ceasefire. They call him Mr. Ceasefire. Stopping shootings and killings almost every day. Trying to make a better way. They call him Mr. Ceasefire. Mr. Ceasefire. He's a man on a mission with a plan. Doing the best he can.
That's it. All right, everybody. Okay, we're about to get started here with Tio, Mr. Ceasefire Hardiman. A touch of soul for everybody here today on What's in It for the Black People Radio Network. Once again, Tio, Mr. Ceasefire Hardiman, a touch of soul. It's an honor to be here on Sunday mornings at 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. We have a pretty good show lined up here today. We want to talk about the difference between being a vegetarian or a vegan. And I have some in-studio guests today to talk about their vegan restaurant chain and all the good work they're doing. And as always, I titled this show A Touch of Soul because every now and then I have to showcase my soulful entertainment side to the best of my ability with all the people that support me worldwide. And I want to thank God because on Sundays from 8 to 9, this is a different type of church. You got Brother Tio coming on the show, a Chicago native, a brother that's been putting a lot of work in throughout the years, and I'm doing my best to continue to showcase people in Chicago and throughout to show that we have a lot of solid business people in Chicago, community leaders, religious leaders, politicians, whatever you might name it. We have people out here taking care of the business for the people each and every way here in Chicago, which is much needed. Actually, we have a lot of things going on right now with the pandemic, with a lot of businesses going out of businesses here in Illinois due to the pandemic. Gun violence is off the charts once again. Homicides up 33% in Chicago. So a lot of work has to be done in order to make it right. So I'll send this little shout out real quick, then we'll get right to my guests. This is a song by Joe, just a little bit of it, okay? It's called All the Things. Lead me to the subway, I'll go down. Nothing can be sweeter than the sounds of making love. Baby, when I start, I just can't stop. I love you from the bottom to the top. Nothing is forbidden when we touch, lady. Ooh, I got a Jones in my heart for you. There ain't a damn thing that you can do. I make your body scream with my sex machine. I won't stop until I hear your mother scream. There's just a little something for all my ladies out there in the universe. And like I say, this show is titled A Touch of Soul. Just giving you a little bit of my soul, all right? So with that being said, I have two in-studio guests. They are the president and CEO of a restaurant chain called Majani. Majani, hopefully I pronounced it right. So with that, I will allow you to introduce yourself, and then your lovely wife, she can introduce herself, and we'll get into this here overall discussion.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Sadakia Emmanuel, co-owner of Majani.
Okay, Majani, okay.
Hi, and I'm Chef Nasia, co-owner of Majani.
Okay, let's get right down to it. What is Majani all about? Just give us a breakdown where you come from, what is the purpose, and you know, how important is it to be a vegan? How important it is to your overall health?
Sure. Majani is a Swahili word that means green, and for us, green was, obviously the cuisine, trying to serve the community, collard greens and string beans and all those things
right.
that can give us life. But also trying to do it in a responsible way creating entry-level jobs for our youth, which I think is one of the most important things that we do. And then, the restaurant itself has a lot of, Green was using a lot of reclaimed material. So you look at when you come in, you see our tables, the ceiling, the exposed brick, all those things that we were able to kind of reclaim and take from reused material. So all of that part of it, and we recycle all of our food scraps, we recycle all of our cardboard, so all the things that we can do to help be a green business as well.
So let me ask you this question then. So we're going to just stick right there. So eating collard greens or green spinach, kale, what is the main importance of eating green vegetables? We eat a lot of vegetables. What is so important about eating the green vegetables?
Well, eating the green vegetables is important for our digestion is the primary thing. I mean, they're certainly nutrient dense, so you can get a lot of critical nutrition. They're cruciferous vegetables. So cruciferous vegetables in particular are one of the best cancer fighting things that we can eat.
Right.
And so being able to have, as they say, garbage in, garbage out. So you want to make sure that if you're eating two pounds a day of food, that you're eliminating 2 pounds, so you're not holding on to all that waste. So green vegetables help to push all that food through our system.
So I may want to ask your wife a quick question here. So what are the benefits of becoming a vegan? Oh, matter of fact, what's the difference between a vegan and a vegetarian?
A vegan is a person, is a diet that is.
Yeah, you keep it going.
Sorry. Veganism is a diet where a person eats solely vegetables, dairy-free, meatless, or anything that had a mother or a face. So anything that derives from an animal product, vegans do not
eat.
Consume.
Right.
Correct.
So back to the main question, because I know a lot of people out in the universe, even with myself, I told you this story earlier. It's true, though. When I was a younger guy, probably about 19 or 20, I used to tell people I wanted to become a vegetarian. So I would go purchase an Italian beef, and I would throw the meat in the garbage and just eat the bread with the juice, thinking I got my proteins. As crazy as it sounds, that's what I did, right? I didn't know any better, right? So how do you make sure, as a vegan, that you get your proteins? Because I know proteins are essential, and correct me if I'm wrong, to your overall health. Is that correct?
It's the number one question that's asked when it comes to being a vegan.
Yeah.
Just to clarify one thing, the difference between a vegan and a vegetarian.
Okay.
Vegetarians will still eat, some will eat eggs and dairy, but a vegan, no eggs, no dairy, nothing that ever had parents. And so protein, that's always the question, because it's like, with you, nutritionists now, people always ask the question, they always want to know, and the fact is that everything has protein in it.
Okay.
Everything has protein in it. That's what gives everything structure. You can't have plant life without protein. And so one of the things about being vegan, that there's many sources, that maybe have more than others. Like beans are an essential part. Lentils is probably one of the most. If you Google what are the top 5 nutritious foods in the world, lentils is going to be on that list.
Okay.
And 95% of the time. And so having a diet that is based around legumes, lentils, black eyed peas, red beans, that kind of thing, seeds and nuts, all those things are protein dense.
So how long have you all been in business with your restaurants? And then you have 3 restaurants right now in Chicago, am I right?
We have 3, one right up the street from your studio here. Our original restaurant was 7156 South Exchange Avenue.
Okay.
We opened Pullman at 756 East 111th Street 2 years ago. And we just opened up the one on Wabash in January of this year, 2537 South Wabash. That's a virtual kitchen, so that's just for delivery and pickup only. So it's not a full service restaurant.
So let's go back in history a little bit. What led you all to becoming vegans? I mean, what was the process? Did you ever eat a lot of meat once before and you just made the transition, or how long have you been vegans? I guess I'll start with you.
I've been a vegan for 15 years.
Good.
And what?
I'm talking to Mike there.
What prompted me to become vegan is once I met Sadakia, it was easy for me to transition. I had no clue what veganism was until I met him, and I straddled the fence, being vegetarian over the years, but not having the understanding because I didn't know any vegetarians or vegans. It was a little hard for me in the beginning to transition. But again, once I met Sadakia, it was really easy
natural.
to just transition over. Yes.
Okay, what about you? How long you been a vegan?
I've been a vegan. December 1st, 1981 will make 40 years.
Wow.
Yeah, it'll make 40 years for me.
So what are the health benefits to being a vegan? Can you break that down for me? Because I know, like, when we talk about health itself, high blood pressure, diabetes, all kinds of stroke, cardiovascular disease, everything. So what are the benefits? Because I know there's been a lot of stories out there how meat clogs up your arteries, people eating all these big steaks and rib tips. Now, I don't even really eat pork, but maybe once a year, and it might sound funny again, I call it relapsing on rib tips. I relapse on rib tips once a year because it's really the barbecue sauce, right? It's the barbecue sauce that gets me. But the thing is, I use that to justify, but I haven't done it in a while now. Hopefully I can just stay away because every time I eat some rib tips, my forehead starts sweating and everything. So I know it's not good for me, okay? I know that. So the reality now, when it comes down to the health benefits of being a vegan, do you, let me see how I can ask you this question here. How would you rate your health as far as, what I just talked about, high blood pressure, without giving out your personal history, but how would you rate your health and how you feel about yourself on a daily basis?
Well, I'm always, I go to the doctor and get, my checkups, every year. And, and I ask those questions. So, how's my protein? How's it when they get your blood work back? And it's always right where it should be. My cholesterol is right where it should be. My blood pressure is right where it should be. So I think the thing is that I'm not dependent on any kind of medication. There's nothing, I don't have any issues regarding health at all. And I think that's a testament to just a good diet and exercise. Yeah,
diet and exercise. What about you? When it comes down to the health benefits, have you noticed a real difference over the 15 years?
Oh, yeah. I suffered from migraines before I became vegan. And I haven't once I transitioned over to veganism, I haven't had an issue with migraines. And that was one of my biggest health issues. Also, before I became vegan, I was having digestive issues.
Right.
And once I stopped eating meats, that has become 99% better.
Right on.
So, yeah.
Yeah, so I think the quality of life, I think, is one of the things that, when you can live a life that doesn't require medications and you can reverse a lot of issues that you may have had if you adopt a vegan plant-based lifestyle.
Well, let's get down to the basics now then. So basically, let's say I'm a new person. I would like to become a vegan. Can you just let meat go overnight? Is there a process? Because that's a question a lot of people may ask, is there a process? How do you let it go? Like, I don't really like I don't eat a lot of steak and all that anymore anyway. I never really was a T-bone steak guy, none of that stuff. But the thing is, I eat a lot of fish, and chicken, of course. But what's the process of detoxing off the meat? Do you become a vegetarian first, then you transition into a vegan? How does that look? How does that go?
It depends on the person.
Yeah.
Okay.
You have to make that decision for yourself. Right. What is best for you and what is easier for you to transition over. Yeah. So again, it depends on the person.
Yeah. And I think the reason why would you want to become a vegan? Is it because vegans, people that make the transition, it's going to typically be between one of three reasons. It's health reasons. Your doctor has told you, hey, you need to lose some weight. You need to, your blood pressure's too high, or you have diabetes or whatever. All those things, adopting a plant-based lifestyle can help with those situations. Or people do it for spiritual reasons. If you're, I was raised Seventh-day Adventist, so there were certain foods that my father never brought into the house. We never brought pork into the house. So we weren't vegan, but we were close. And then people may adopt it for animal rights reasons. They don't like the way that factory farming and the impact of factory farming has on the environment and on animals, cruelty and that kind of thing. So having a reason why, I think, is is important. And I think having doing research on how to have a balanced meal, those are all things that can help you. And then some people, they need to do it in steps and measures, or have goals. I'm going to give up, pork for the first 30 days. I'm going to do beef after that. I'm going to do chicken after that. I'm going to do dairy after that. And so over a period of several months, you can transition into that. For me, I'm an all-in person, so it was cold turkey for me.
Okay, right.
Yeah,
that's what I'm talking
because
about.
it's like if I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do this, and there's no way. But I had support. I was a part of the Hebrew Israelite community,
yes,
so
indeed.
I had support of a community that could help me. Now there's the internet and all kinds of stuff. You didn't have that kind of stuff to do research where you have it now, but there's a lot of information. They can come by Majani and get inspired, and go through the menu and try things that they can gravitate towards or be inspired by. I think there's so much out here now that you can say, if I could eat it like this, I can do it.
Yeah. So that's important, because for me, I like to go cold turkey as well. Now, what I did go cold turkey on pop. I haven't drank any pop in about a year and a half. Not one sip of pop. Okay, that's important for me, and that was cold turkey. It wasn't
how did you feel a month into it?
I feel much better, because what I did is my research. The average can of pop has about so many grams of sugar. It's like drinking sugar in your putting sugar right in your system, right? And then when you talk about now, like the treatment of animals, I did a little work years ago with the Humane Society of the United States and Best Friends Animal Society. So we fought to stop purchasing eggs from some of these egg providers that have caged hens, where they keep them in cages and packed in these cages like sardines. So we fought to try to, for better treatment for animals, right? Because let me play the devil's advocate with everybody right now. So we're going to go deeper into nature now. Yes, well, God made all the creatures in the world.
Yes, sir.
That's the way it was, through evolution or whatever. I believe I'm spiritual. Yes, I'm not religious. I'm spiritual. I believe in God. I do believe. I was raised Catholic. But this is the thing. God created all the creatures of the planet. Lions, they eat meat. They carnivorous, right? They eat the live game. That's what they eat, right? Then you got the gorillas and the deer, like the gazelles, they eat the grass, right? Yes, and the hippos, they're vegetarians, basically. They eat grass and all that kind of good stuff. Yes, so the reality is the earth was, creatures were created for consumption. So I might be wrong about that, but some people would tell you in a minute, creatures were created for consumption, going back to the caveman days, going back to the ancient Africa, when you had the hunters and gatherers who would go out and catch wild game and bring it back home to the people. The fish, Jesus fed people with fish and bread. So, we talking about creatures were created for consumption. Help me out there, because if creatures were created for consumption, what makes a person want to become a vegan or a vegetarian other than some of the health benefits? What is that all about?
Well, I think there's two things two answers that I could give for that. And I think if you go, for me, what really changed my perception, what really got me thinking was if man was meant to eat meat, then what was the original intent of God regarding meat? And read in the book of Genesis 1:28, 1:29. That was the diet given to man by God originally.
Right.
And that was to eat of the fruits and herbs of the field, having the seed thereof. And so, fine, if we're going to be hunter-gatherers, then go hunt your meat. Go fish. And then eat what you catch, not what you can buy in the grocery store. Go get a gun, go get a bow, go set a trap, and then everybody start hunting their own meat, and see then how much meat you eat on a daily basis.
I think it would present another picture then, because a lot of people are not cut out for like going to hunt and gather. I used to visit Mississippi when I was younger, and to my some of my relatives down there, old school, right? I remember one day, I think it was one of the holidays, the 4th of July or something. Family reunion kicked off, and they put a possum on the table. And I looked at the possum. Man, I'm from Chicago. I'm not eating no possum, man. It's like a big old rat, Just on the table. Then they put onions and some other stuff around it to dress it up. I don't think you can dress no possum up or no raccoon like that. So I never ate no possum or raccoon. But it was funny to me as I look back on it, because they were saying, you're going to have to eat something, man. I said, I can't do that. Yes, just give me some vegetables. I'll be cool.
I grew up in northern Wisconsin, Brother Hardiman.
Yeah.
And so, I had my first gun. I was 9 years old. And the culture was that you went hunting. During deer hunting season, you went and shot, and you went fishing and all that stuff. And quite frankly, I don't have much of an issue. I don't think that it is natural or to think that everybody's going to become vegan. But
Okay.
and so in certain environments of the world, you do what you have to do. You're going to live off the land, so you're going to hunt and fish and all that kind of stuff, and that's how you do. I mean, so I don't have an objection with people that live that kind of lifestyle. But the abundance of meat only proliferated over the last 100 years with the advent of refrigeration.
Yes.
And being able to ship and pack food the way that we do now. But it wasn't the consumption that we do now, where it's every meal you feel like you have to have meat.
Yeah.
And it's too much on your digestive system. It's just too much. You're talking about millions and millions of animals that get killed, that are slaughtered. Slaughtered every day, to have meat accessible in such abundance. And it's just not. I mean, in certain cultures where they do eat meat, it should be in balance, where you take a 12-ounce steak and you divide that amongst 15 people, as opposed to one 15-ounce steak for one person. It's just too much on your digestive system. It's too
It's
much.
better to kind of mix it up, because I can recall actually when I would visit Jackson, Mississippi, and different places as well. So it's a little difference in New Orleans as well, because it appears that breakfast becomes like a dinner down there. I'm talking about my people. They would bring me a big old plate for breakfast. I'm talking about I couldn't even name all the food that was on the plate. Like the big old piece of ham, biscuits, gravy, grits, no oatmeal, I mean, just everything else, scrambled eggs with cheese. I'm talking about big old plate like dinner. Now, the lunch plate was bigger than the breakfast plate. It looked like it was triple dinner. And then you had the dinner, And so you're talking about a situation where, now, the thing about it, is it proper to say that it's best practice to eat 3 meals a day? Or is it that the breakfast meal is the most important meal of the day? Because I didn't eat breakfast a lot years ago, but now I do eat my breakfast because they say that's the most important meal of the day. But what kind of tips could you give a person? What's in your opinion as well? I know you're not doctors, whatever the case may be, but what kind of advice would you give somebody what they should eat in the morning that would help them in a healthy way getting started for their day?
Well, here's the thing. Your body, 8 hours a day is for rest, right? So your body is fasting during that period of time. If you adopt a lifestyle where you're in essence fasting for 16 hours a day, so you're resting for 8 hours a day, and if you spend another 8 hours a day, that still leaves you 8 hours, to eat. Your stomach empties every 4 hours, so two good meals is sufficient.
2 good meals a day.
Now, if that first and there are some things that you can do, like in the morning. If you feel like, hey, I just, start your day off with some water, squeeze a little lime juice or some lemon juice in a glass of water to help flush your system, flush your kidneys, get your body going. And then maybe have a shake, a protein shake with some fresh fruit, maybe a frozen banana, protein powder, and, half a cup of oatmeal, blend all that up. That'll hold you for a couple of hours. Okay. And then a lunch with a salad and some kind of protein entree, and then but I think after 6 o'clock you don't want to eat a heavy meal because your body is winding down. So you really have between like 10 o'clock until 6 o'clock to eat 2-3 meals in the course of a day. And then here's the thing: if you're overtaxing your system, that's why you're going to have you need that power shot, that energy shot in the middle of the day. Because you're overworking your system. But if you're in balance, you'll find that the energy is giving you fuel, the right amount of fuel, and you can get through the day without overtaxing your system.
But let me ask you a question, if you don't mind. So how long does it take for, let's say you consume a steak or a piece of chicken? How long do you think it takes for that to actually break down in your body? Because we have acids in our body that will break down, through our liver and all that stuff, to break down meat. Sometimes I've been hearing stories. I'm just going from what I hear, not what I've been able to prove, in other words, but some people say it takes 2 or 3 days to break meat down in your system, depending on what kind of meat that you ate at that time. Is that true, or is that false to a degree? How long does it take to process meat through your system?
I have. It depends on how much meat that you're eating, because I have. It's been a while since I've researched that, but I know that from what I've read, that it can be weeks, months, years of undigested protein in your system. When you compare the digestive system of a lion, let's just say that is what he does. He's going to eat meat. versus that of a human. Lions have a very short digestive system with really strong enzymes in it that's going to allow that food to get broken down, versus that of humans, which we have 25, 30 feet of intestines that food you breaks down slowly. And so we don't have the same kind of enzymes that a meat eater does to break the foods down. So over time, it can impact your system in a way where it builds up and builds up and builds up. And then when we look at society, and the obesity rate in this country is off the charts. The high blood pressure, the diabetes, all these things are a direct result of just that overconsumption of animal protein.
Yeah, I can imagine because when you go to the average grocery store, some of the meat has been sitting up there for a couple of days or whatever the case might be. Some of the meat is turning colors, and then you put it in your system and you think everything's going to be okay. And then sometimes animals actually have diseases, and you don't know if the diseases are in the meat that you're about to consume. So we have to be very careful when you're talking about eating blood from an animal, even though I eat it every day. So I'm just trying to learn more about it myself in order to become, I would love to strive to become a vegetarian first myself. It's going to take some time for me to really understand what it's all about because I'm in pretty good shape. I run 2 miles twice a week. I lift weights. I'm at 5 sets of 10 with 225 pounds. I was able to hit 315 one time. I didn't want to hit it one time. I hit it last week. I was so happy. Just one time for me. And then also my cardio is pretty good, right? And I'm doing the push-ups. I can do 1,000 jumping jacks right now if I had to. I'm just talking about for me, but I'm doing 50 at a time, so I take my time and take care of the business. But the reality is that I know staying in shape is so important, but depending on what you eat, Elijah Muhammad many years ago had wrote a book called You Are What You Eat. Basically, and we know that your health is really incumbent upon what you take into your system. So how important, when you talk about becoming a vegan, how important is it to have all your processes in order, like your spirituality, your mental state of health, and a vegan? I think that would be so beneficial to your overall health. I mean, it would be dynamic, in my opinion. It would be dynamic and fantastic. So how important is it to keep how put it like this, and let me ask a question a different way. How important is your spirituality in tune with being a vegan, if that makes sense to you? Is there like a connection there in the spiritual world? Or maybe not? Is there any?
Well, I think that you touched on it.
Yeah.
When you have meat being processed the way that it is, and the state of the animal in this, they know it's coming, and they understand death in a way that it releases certain hormones into their system. Right. When they had that fear, and so you're putting all that goes into the meat, and I have no proof. There's no documentation about it, but I believe that a lot of the mass shootings and all this ill behavior is coming from the diet.
Wow,
it's coming from the diet, and I do think there is an association between what you eat and your overall mental and spiritual well-being. Okay. And that, if you want to be at peace with yourself and be at peace with your neighbor, that a diet plays a large role in that.
Okay, good. So let's talk about sweets for a minute. I think a lot of the people watching, and if you all have any questions, you can make a comment right there live on the Facebook page. You can pose a question for us if you would like to. So let's talk about sweets for a minute. So a lot of times people associate eating sweets with being diabetic, or you cannot eat so many sweets, or sweets bring forth diabetes or something like that. Can we clear the air about that in some kind of way as it relates to sweets, to a degree? Because I backed up on sweets for my own reasons. I'm not diabetic or anything. I just backed up on sweets because of everything that I hear all the time about sweets. It's like it's a negative association when you talk about sweets. Can you? Because I know that your wife, she actually makes the pastries for the restaurant business. And then what can you tell me about the pastries that you brought here today? We got some pastries I want to show to everybody. What can you tell us about it?
Okay, well, my pastries are dairy-free and egg-free. I'm not going to say that they're healthy. I'm not going to say that they're healthier.
Yes.
However, if you have issues with
cholesterol,
dairy, cholesterol, or eggs, these would be some of the items that you would be able to consume because we
you
do
use an
have-
organic flour and you use cane sugar.
I
and-
do.
Yeah.
So it's a difference with the kind of ingredients that I use in my desserts versus someone else. So
quickly, let me ask you this while you're talking there. What's the difference between cane sugar and using the regular type of sugar? What's the difference there?
the regular sugar is heavily processed,
Okay.
whereas cane sugar is not.
That's a big difference.
So
I know one of the colonizer countries, France, went to war with Haiti over the cane sugar. You know, the sugar plantations in Haiti. That's another part of history, right? But it's important. So I plan to try out these pastries here later today. So the reality, what I'm trying to get at, even with the sugar. So is it true though that sugar can cause diabetes, or once you have diabetes, you eat too much sugar, obviously your sugar level goes up? Is that true? Is there a connection there?
anything you eat is going to break down to sugar.
Got it.
So, even if you had a meal during the day
Yes.
and didn't have sweets, your sugar could rise. So
Okay.
everything you eat is going to break down to sugar.
I appreciate you saying that. I'll tell you something. I respect that a lot. The reason why, because that's what my mother and grandmother always told me. I didn't understand it. They say everything you eat turns into sugar eventually in your body, like potatoes, rice, and all that.
Right.
Now, a lot of my Asian friends, not to highlight Asians, because I don't, I love all people, all human beings, but they have a rice diet. A lot of them have a rice diet almost every day. I used to work with some Asian people, and they ate rice every day. But what I'm hearing, that white rice has so much sugar in it. But a lot of Asian people I know, they live a long life, even though they eat a lot of rice. So now when you say everything turns into sugar, what are your thoughts about that? And in regards, how can you kind of avoid having everything not turn into sugar in your body by eating the right things? What kind of foods would you recommend that may not turn into sugar? Is there any foods out there that you all would recommend?
Well, absolutely. I think
Okay.
I think that's why we go back to the greens. I mean, when
Yeah.
you eat collard greens and broccoli and string beans and all that kind of stuff, those are things that break down a little differently. And you certainly need to have your complex carbs. And so, like brown rice is better than white rice because it breaks down slower. So what you don't want is that mad rush of simple carbs that will get into your bloodstream and kind of spike. So things that you can eat that will break down over time. That's the beauty of eating beans, that they give you protein and complex carbohydrates, and it absorbs into your system over time, as opposed to eating, let's say, a candy bar that is going to spike your sugar or white sugar that's going to go into your bloodstream right away and give you that instant kind of energy boost. But then on the backside of that, you crash. And so I think the important thing is having a diet that's centered, that's balanced in a way that it's going to absorb into your system, that you get all your nutrients in it, and you do it over a period of time, as opposed to, crashing and burning.
Those crash diets.
Crashing and
Crash
burning.
diets.
Crashing, you get that bolt of energy,
Right.
and on the backside, you fall out like, where'd all my energy go?
Yeah, because too much sugar on your kidneys and your liver can really be toxic. I mean, your liver can only do so much over time.
Right.
Is it like now with the liver itself being a big organ in your body? Now, some doctors will say that it's hard for a liver to heal itself, or whatever the case may be, once you have liver damage. I'm talking about for people that drink or whatever, because a lot of alcohol creates cirrhosis. That's a whole nother conversation. But, I mean, I've known stories about
I'm a chef of the heart. I'm not a doctor.
I know that. Yeah, I know. That's why I'm just going a little deep with you. That's why I say I know you're not a doctor, but by you being a vegan, I just want to talk about the benefits of being a vegan pretty much. And I got you clearly on that. That's why I don't want to ask you no medical questions. But the reality is that I want people that are watching to understand that it's good to just have a good, healthy diet, no matter what you are, vegan, vegetarian, or if you eat meat. Just do everything in discretion, so to speak. Don't just overdo anything.
Always eat
Yes.
in moderation.
In
That's with
moderation.
anything.
Yeah.
Well, here's what I
Okay.
would say. That I've been an athlete all
Okay.
my life.
Yes, indeed.
I've always enjoyed running. I've always enjoyed working out. And so for me, it was always doing research on what are reading muscle and fitness magazines and all that kind of stuff, and what do the athletes eat. And so what I found was that a lot of what the research that I was doing was leading me back to what I'm already eating. That sweet potatoes and whole grains and fresh fruits and vegetables
Right.
are what are what fueled the Roman soldiers, is what fueled the ancient Egyptian armies. It's what fueled the modern day athletes. These are what they will tell you are at the heart of what you should be eating. And so that's what, from my own experience, from 40 years of experience, being on this path, it has been what has fueled me in a way that I can have a quality of life and still be able to do all the things that I want to do and not and have the energy that I need to do all these things. I mean, we work, at the restaurant, we're 12, 13, 14 hours a day. I can imagine, and working circles around some of the folks that are half our age, and so, the diet fuels us to do the things that we want to do through the course of the day and serve the community in a way that we can. If we didn't have the good health that we have, we couldn't do what we do.
I can see it in your complexion. Your skin looks real good as well, real smooth, and all that good stuff there that goes along with a vegan diet. So let me ask you this then. What's the best way to cook your vegetables so you can retain the vitamin element in your vegetables? What's the best way? Cover the vegetables. I mean, you know what I mean? Sometimes people steam, fry, they boil. Like broccoli, everybody say eat a lot of broccoli because even though you're not a doctor, but, what's out there in the universe, you eat broccoli, it helps to prevent cancer to a degree. They say if you eat a lot of oranges, and all that kind of good stuff. So what's the best way to cook vegetables so you will not lose the vitamin element? That's the bottom line. What's any answers to that?
Sure.
Yes, indeed.
So anytime you heat a vegetable over 107 degrees in that range, you start to lose nutritional value.
Exactly.
So if you can, I think one of the things that's important is to try to eat a lot of raw fruits and vegetables, right? But so stir frying is an excellent way because you can bring a lot of flavor, and you're not gonna, if it's done properly, you're not gonna overcook it. Even baking it is fine. Some vegetables you need to bake in order to break them down in a way that they can, so that you can digest them. Obviously collard greens, you need to cook those for a good 30 minutes in order to break them down. But you can eat them, kale you can eat raw. I mean, or cooked. And Brussels sprouts, you can roast those or stir fry them. So, you don't want to overcook your veggies, So boiling is probably, unless you're putting it in a soup, is probably not a way that I wouldn't recommend with your vegetables. But steaming, stir frying, baking is good because you want to be able to maintain those the nutrients from the vegetables.
Well, I got a chance to eat some vegan dishes before, like eggplant. Would eggplant be considered vegan?
Absolutely.
Okay, good. So what are the benefits to a degree of eggplant? Because to me, I'm not real crazy about it. I remember also when I was growing up, my grandma used to make me eat, she would ask me to eat rutabagas, right? And to me, I never liked turnip, whatever they call it, turnip, rutabaga, put them in your greens. I couldn't stand them. She'd say, before you go to bed, you better finish that plate, right? I couldn't stand rutabaga. You couldn't pay me to eat it. But eggplant, we had eggplant. So what are some of the benefits of eggplant? Far as the health, anything about eggplant?
They're good source of vitamin C, A, and I don't remember what else. I don't.
Yeah. Okay, that's good. Now, broccoli, we know the benefits of broccoli. Is there any remote truth to the fact that broccoli might prevent some things in your body? Is there any truth to that?
1,000%.
Break it down for me. Yeah.
1,000%. Broccoli is what they call a cruciferous vegetable.
Okay.
And I remember reading a study from the...
Break down cruciferous for the audience for me.
Sure. Cruciferous vegetables, anything like broccoli, Brussels sprouts, collard greens, cabbage. Those are all considered cruciferous vegetables.
Okay.
And there was a study that came out from the National Institute of Health. This is a while ago. I mean, this is probably a good 20 years or so ago. They had a big study on what is the best thing to do to prevent cancer. And at the end of the day, they said eat lots of cruciferous vegetables.
Okay.
Because they are they have a lot of antioxidants in it, and it helps your body to fight cancer. And that's the thing, that everybody has cancer. Your body fights most of it off. But if you're not fueling your system with the things that help your body to fight off cancer, then that's how it builds up in your system. So the best thing that you can do is fortify your body to give it the materials that it needs to fight off disease. That's why when we look at the disparities in our community was highlighted by COVID. The reason why we suffered the most is because we have the worst diet.
Got it.
And so eating our cruciferous vegetables, eating our fresh fruits and juices and raw juices, that kind of thing, it gives your body the building blocks it needs to fight off disease. And when you eat everything that's brown, from McDonald's, from these fast food places, you're not giving your body what it needs. You should eat the rainbow. You should be eating greens and yellows and reds and oranges and all these kind of different colors, because that gives your body a variety of nutrient-dense foods to help you fight, build your system and fight off disease.
Okay, let's take on this subject here quickly, because a lot of people eat bread every day, right? White bread, wheat bread, whatever the case may be. It's like every day I know I'm eating some kind of bread. What I know that there's not a lot of benefits to eating bread, because they say it's more like fatty, causes fat, whatever the case may be. But what kind of bread would you all basically think is better to eat? Because the white bread turns into sugar too. Is that correct?
Yes,
that's what I've heard.
The difference between
right
a whole grain bread versus white bread, again, it goes back to at Medina we use a whole grain bread that comes from the Amish community. It's all organic, and so how it breaks down into your system. A white bread is going to spike in your system versus a whole wheat, which just takes longer to digest, so it breaks those nutrients down slowly, and then it has the fiber in it.
Okay.
So that's always I'm gonna come back to that one.
That's right.
But so then it has the fiber, which allows food to pass through your system. The fiber helps to pull those toxins and things that build up into your or undigested food into your system. It allows it to help push it through. And that's always a question I ask to people when asking about protein. When they ask you, where do you get your protein? I'm asking, where do you get your fiber?
That's right. So that fiber is so important.
Yeah, because animal protein doesn't have fiber.
Okay.
But lentils have fiber, protein, and carbohydrates.
Good. Now, I hope a year from now I can say that I'm a vegan. I really do, because I think it's
I will
good.
make it my business to support you, whatever you need to help you make that goal.
Now, that would be an honor, because I know I would feel much better. I'm in pretty good shape now, but the reality is that I know I probably need to let meat go. I've been eating meat all my life, so it's like I'm not going to miss nothing.
Here's the thing.
You know what I'm saying? That's important.
As we get older, it becomes we have, as a younger person, you have a lot of enzymes that help to break down your food. But as we get older, we start to lose some of those enzymes. And so it's important that you modify your diet as you get older. Cutting back on that meat, eating more fresh fruits and vegetables, eating freshly prepared juices and smoothies and that kind of thing is more of a benefit, especially as we get older. And your body, it's harder for your body to absorb protein as you get older. So it's easier for your body to absorb a plant protein than it is to absorb animal protein as we get older. And so I think it is important to kind of reevaluate where you are at every stage of your life, every 2-3 years, every 5 years, to say, is this diet serving me? My current diet, is it serving me now the way that it was serving me before?
So let me ask this question. Reevaluate it.
Every few years, you should evaluate your diet.
Okay, good. So I have a couple of more questions here. I think it's a real good conversation for people that are watching and listening. I want to make sure that we understand that it's all about healthy eating. It's all about educating people on the benefits of being a vegan versus a meat eater, whatever the case may be. And I know we're not talking to medical doctors here. I want to clear the air on that, just getting your opinion on how being a vegan has helped you all. So let's get to berries for a minute, being an antioxidant, right? Berries, like blueberries, raspberries. Now, what are some of the good things about berries? I'll ask you that question. Well, I'll ask your wife that question in a minute, because I know you make the pastries. What could you say that the value in eating berries? Because, bears, I'm talking about animals too. They eat a lot of berries before they go into hibernation. I'm just putting it out there. But what are the benefits of berries? All kinds of berries.
As you said, it's high in antioxidants.
Okay.
Which our bodies need on a daily basis. So I can't really speak a whole lot on the berries, but for me, it's the antioxidants.
Yeah, the antioxidants. And then, so what do the antioxidants do for your body then? What would you say there about the benefit of antioxidants for the body.
Antioxidants help repair cell damage.
Okay,
So
got it.
Skins.
it helps to repair your DNA, helps to repair all your cells, and that's why you look at my wife, she has such beautiful skin.
That's right. That's right. Hey, look here, when a man compliments his wife, especially right here on the air, that's a beautiful thing. I just want to say that. That's a beautiful thing, right? Right on. So let me ask you this question here. I mean, that's the reason why I call this show A Touch of Soul, because I send a shout out to women worldwide with my singing a little bit. Like I said, I'm not a professional singer, but I have an entertainment side, so I just try to showcase it, every now and then.
Yes, sir.
All right? But when a man finds a wife, he finds a good, I don't like to say the word good thing, because a wife is not a good thing, but when a man finds a wife, he finds something special.
Absolutely.
Someone special, all right? And being a soulmate of somebody's, that's a whole nother topic there. But the people can be soulmates. That's just the way it goes, And so now about continuing the conversation about vegan. Now, if a person eats, let's say at 9 p.m. at night, and he eats that some rib tips, a steak or whatever, either a big old dinner at 9 o'clock at night, what happens to the body when you're talking about the metabolism, breaking things down? I'm talking about eating at 9 p.m. at night and then going to sleep. That's what I'm talking about. I mean, as soon as you eat, you lay down. What's detrimental about that?
Well, it requires a lot of energy to break down food.
Okay.
Right? And so while we're resting, that is the time that your body is using to detoxify its system and to restore your system. And so that's the energy that your body should be using during that 8 hour of rest,
and not 8 hours of trying to break down what you just
and so if you're now if your body is in the digestive breakdown mode, is diverting energy for what it should be doing, which is cleansing your system and rebuilding your system
and revitalizing you for the next day.
So now it's breaking down food at a time when it should. So your body is doing something at that time when it should be doing something else, and that's why you can eat that meal at 9 o'clock. But I guarantee you, when you wake up in the morning, you're gonna feel like somebody hit you with a Mack truck, because your body has not completed the task what it should have been doing, which is rebuilding and fortifying. So it's spending that energy to. It's all about energy.
Okay.
It's all about energy and how your body is using that energy to for your benefit to work throughout the course of the day. And so if you're out of cycle, if you're out of rhythm, if you're digesting, trying to digest food when it should be rebuilding food, you're not serving your body. You're not serving your highest need.
So one thing I plan to do moving forward.
We supplement that So we supplement that with now. That's why you got to have your coffee first thing in the morning.
Yeah, no, I just don't even drink coffee that much.
No, I'm not talking about you, brother.
Yes, indeed.
And so now we have to have that shot of energy at 1, 2 o'clock in the afternoon.
Yeah.
And so if your body if it was performing in the way that it should be performing, you wouldn't need those kind of things to supplement your system.
Got it. So this is really important if you ask me. I believe that this particular live broadcast today, I plan to share it to about 300 people, have my team share this information, because for those people out there on the fence and they're wondering what are the benefits, I think we had a good discussion about some of the benefits. Now, what is one of your favorite dishes at your restaurant, and how much are you all receiving a lot of support at your restaurants right now, and how can we help promote you a little bit more out there as far as your restaurants? You can mention where they are again if you don't mind. The addresses and everything.
Okay, so our first location is 7167 South Exchange. Our second location is 756 East 111th Street.
Okay.
And the third location is 2537 South Wabash, and that is a cloud kitchen. So you can only order at that location online or for pickup.
Okay. Then you're getting pretty good business. You got a lot of good customers and everything.
We've been fortunate to over the years, especially during the pandemic, to have community support that has made sure that Majani stayed open, and we're certainly very grateful for that. The South Loop location is still growing. I mean, that opened up in January, so we definitely need more energy to for the South Loop location. But the other stores have done well. They've been a staple in the community. I think folks appreciate being able to have those alternatives in their community. We started Majani as in South Shore. We live in South Shore, And I think one of the things that was important for us was to be able to have a sit-down restaurant in our neighborhood.
Good.
Because every time it was just really maddening for us to have to go out of our neighborhood to Hyde Park or to the South Loop or North Side and get food that wasn't soulful. Might have been vegan but didn't have soul in it, and so we wanted to have that in our neighborhood and to be able to hire folks from our community. And those are things that were very important for us.
Okay, good stuff. So I plan to go cold turkey on eating anything after 6 o'clock. I plan to make that a commitment of mine. I don't plan to eat anything after 6 o'clock moving forward, not just because of this conversation, because I've been wanting to do it anyway.
Yes, sir.
Whatever I eat before 6, that's cool. We can break it on down, and I don't have to use my system to overwork through the night if I eat something too late at night. So that's important, because one of my weaknesses, I used to like eating a lot of apple pie, peach pie. I couldn't even leave it in the refrigerator through the night because I'm waking up through the night trying to get another piece. And I like the crust. It's not so much about the pie itself. I like the crust, right? I use that to rationalize eating the whole pie, right? So I don't even buy no pies and bring them around my house, But this has been a real good show. And quickly before we sign off in about 3 or 4 more minutes, I have to break down some other information. But what's your website?
Our website is majani.biz, MAJANI.biz.
Good. So anything else you want to say before we let it go for today? Anything about your pastries? What's one of your favorite pastries that you all sell? Maybe all of them are favorites, though.
Me personally, I've always been a German chocolate.
A German chocolate?
person.
Okay.
So,
Cool.
yeah, that's my favorite.
2 more. Okay. All right, so with that being said, it's been a good show today, and I usually break down with a little touch of soul as well, as always. Before I get out of this, I might sing one more little tune to all my lady friends and associates. So this is like from the group Guy from Let's Chill, pretty much. From the first time I saw your face, girl, I knew I had to have you. I wanted to wrap you in my warm embrace, visions of your lovely face. All my love is for you. Whatever you want, I will do. You're the only one I want in my life. For you, I'll make that sacrifice. So, baby, let's chill. Let's settle down. That's all that I want to do. Baby, just me and you. I just want to put that out there. My voice is a little raspy this morning, but I feel good. And I'm just putting that out there. This is a different type of church. You're on with Tio, Mr. Ceasefire Hardiman, A Touch of Soul, on What's in It for the Black People Radio. I want to thank everybody watching on Facebook. I want you all to share my live post here. It's very important to get good information out here. And I think my guest today, they brought the noise when it comes down to being a vegan. And hopefully it's educational for the entire world. Peace and blessings. Talk to you soon. I'm about to sign off. Peace.
They call him